Good afternoon. My name is Professor Sigmund Schadenfreude. I am Professor of Psychology and the Director of the Psychological Department at Arcanum Academy. Today I would like to introduce you to a very special patient of mine. This patient has a very serious problem. This problem is that the patient is one person, but he has two personalities. One personality, his name is Nigel, and the other personality is named Bruce. You will see this. So, today we will do an experiment with Nigel and Bruce. So let me introduce you to Nigel and Bruce. So, patient X, what is your favorite color?
Yes, hello. Patient X here. I'm Nigel. My favorite color, it would be blue, the color of royalty.
My favorite color is red. What do you want?
What is your favorite animal?
Oh, my favorite animal, yes, of course. Well, that would be the hedgehog. They're lovely little creatures, aren't they, the hedgehogs?
What am I, 6 years old? Favorite animal? The tiger. Everybody loves tigers. They're the best. Of course they're the best. The tiger.
And what is your favorite kind of music?
Oh, favorite music, yes, of course. Well, the lesser-known Baroque composers, such as Couperin and Rameau and Scarlatti, Telemann. Brilliant, brilliant music.
My favorite music, Bruce Springsteen, of course. The White Stripes, Bob Dylan. Come on.
Very good, very good. Now tell me, patient X, about vegetables.
Well, of course, my favorite vegetable would have to be the tomato. Now, of course, it's not really a vegetable, but we all think of it as one.
Don't you mean the tomato? It's not tomato, it's tomato.
Well, Bruce, you're entitled to your own opinion, but I say tomato. If you would like to say tomato, then that can be your vegetable.
No tomatoes, no tomatoes. Listen, the best vegetable is the eggplant. It's nutritious, it's beautiful, and it tastes great. The eggplant.
Bruce, don't you mean the aubergine?
No, it's the eggplant, stupid.
No, I'm afraid we call that an aubergine.
No, it's an eggplant.
Aubergine.
Eggplant.
Aubergine.
Please, that is enough. That is enough. That is very good, very good. So as you can see, this patient has a big problem. And this same problem can also happen with the English language and the German language. That is right. Sometimes there are words that are the same word in German and in English, or they are very similar. And in some circumstances, they have the same meaning. And in other circumstances, they have very different meanings. So it is important to look at these words one by one and to see the similarities and the differences between these words. So I will have patient X describe for you these different words. So please, patient X, come. Enjoy.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor Schadenfreude, for this wonderful opportunity. So the first word we have is in German, Garten, and in English, the garden. Now, these words are the same when we are speaking in British English. If I say, well, let's have a barbecue in the garden, it would be the same as lass uns eine Barbecue im Garten haben. Very, very nice indeed. Yes, and of course, they're also the same when we are referring to a flower garden, a vegetable garden, or a botanical garden. And this is the same whether it's American English or British English. So if we're talking about any one of these things, then we can use the word garden. Now, of course, we must be very careful. If you say to an American, let's have a barbecue in the garden, then they will think, well, that's very strange. I hope nobody steps on my pumpkins. So in American English, if you want to say, wir feiern mit einem Barbecue im Garten, then you want to say, let's celebrate with a barbecue in the backyard or in the yard. That's the word. So in that case, they're very different. You don't want to say garden in that case. All right, next we have the word See and see. So let's see. Yes, of course. If we are talking about the sea, die See, then of course we can say the sea. So the Nordsee is the North Sea. The Ostsee is the Baltic Sea. But they're different if we're talking about der See. In that case, in English, we call it a lake. And it doesn't matter if it's British English or American English, it's always a lake if you talk about der See. Right, so they're also different if we talk about sea, and in German you say das Meer. So for example, am Meer, at the seaside, unter dem Meer, under the sea, Meeresfrüchte, seafood, and Meeresspiegel, sea level. For the next word, we have Sport and sport. Now, they are the same when we are talking about a physical activity with rules and or goals, and it's usually competitive. For example, football or basketball or baseball or cricket or handball, wrestling, something like that. Usually there are very strict set rules that we have, and we compete against other people. In that case, that is a sport. But they're different if we talk about eine körperliche Aktivität, die die körperliche Fitness und die allgemeine Gesundheit verbessert oder erhält. Right? So, if you go jogging in the evening, then you say, ich habe Sport gemacht in German. In English, you say, I exercised or I worked out. Right? So then we do not do sports if it's just improving our physical fitness. All right. The next word, we have Keller and cellar. Yes, so they are the same if we are talking about something that is underground and used mostly for storage. So, for example, a wine cellar. Now, most German houses have a cellar in which the inhabitants of the house can keep their various belongings. But you do not live there. Nobody lives in the cellar, and that is an important detail. You cannot live in a cellar. Now, the basement is a different story. The basement is underground, the underground floor of a house, and it can be furnished for living or for other purposes. So it's not really for storage. So you can see in this one picture, we've got a swimming pool. In another picture, we've got like a living room and maybe a bedroom, a guest bedroom, or maybe the basement's not even finished, but it could be, right? So the basement is just that lower level of the house where people can live. It's not really for storage. All right, the next word we have is Kantine and canteen. Now here, they are actually the same if we are speaking in British English. If you talk about having lunch in the Kantine, then in British English, of course, we can just say, let's have lunch in the canteen. But in American English, you don't say canteen. Then if you say canteen, we think of like a Mexican cantina or like a bar or something else. In English, in American English, we say cafeteria. So let's have lunch in the cafeteria. Now this is not the same as the German Cafeteria, right? That's also a cafeteria, but we also say cafeteria if we're talking about die Kantine. And more in British English, you can hear cafeteria also. The next word, lernen and to learn. Here they are the same. If we are talking about das allgemeine Erlangen von Informationen oder eine Fähigkeit. So for example, we are learning about the Reformation in history class. She has learned how to defend herself. And dogs are very good at learning tricks. But they're different if we're talking about die Tätigkeit, etwas zu lernen. So for example, please be quiet. I'm studying for my test tomorrow. We don't say learn. In German, you say ich lerne für meine Prüfung morgen. In English, I'm studying for my test, because that's the action, right? That's the action. She studies 2 hours every day. He never studies, but he always passes his tests. Yes, next word, hören, and to hear. So they are the same if this is something that is passive. So for example, can you hear the birds outside? Or, I heard footsteps upstairs, but I was home alone. It could also be used for das Hören von Nachrichten oder Klatsch oder etwas Ähnliches. So, I heard she went to Thailand last year. Did you hear the news about Conchita Wurst? So in this case, they are the same. So, but they are very different if we talk about aktives Hören oder zuhören. So in that case, we say listen to. We listen to something. So for example, I like to listen to podcasts while I jog. She never listens to music in her car. Or he always listens to his mother. He's a very good boy. And next we have meinen and to mean. So they are the same if we are talking about das, was wir mit einem Ausdruck eigentlich sagen möchten. So for example, what do you mean by never see you again? You told me to bring the book, but which book did you mean? Now, when I said, let's cook dinner, I didn't mean let's burn down the kitchen, but they're very different if we're talking about der Ausdruck, eine Meinung. And in that case, then in English, we say to think. So, I think their food is terrible. She thinks she's a diva. What do you think about Trump? They're also different in that mean in English can mean, bedeuten, oder heißen in German. So for example, what does mir send me mean? Or your help with this project really means a lot to me. Or we missed the train. That means we have to stay the night.
So, thank you very much, Patient X, for these lovely descriptions of these words. I hope that this can help you the next time that you need. Oh, look at that, Bruce. Bruce, I've taken control. I do think we can make our getaway now. Bruce, have you got the keys?
All right, I got the keys. Let's get out of here.
All right, coming. Please, they are entführen mich. Please.
Come on, let's go.
Cheerio.